Greetings viewers, and thanks for joining me out in the shop today. Next order of business on the Tacoma project, get that 3RZ out of there and get the rest of the truck ready to receive that engine and all these wires back here. I haven't forgotten about all these wires back here. Now, I said I was reading a couple of different articles, one about swapping some wires, one about swapping harnesses. I totally deleted the article about swapping some wires. Way too difficult in my opinion. This is a novice wire person speaking. Now, I took everything I needed off of here and detached everything where it went to the shell of the vehicle, like my heater hoses, AC lines, fuel lines, everything I needed to make this run is ready to go back to the evap canister, etc. When I get under here, I'm going to need to take everything out, like that evap canister, all this wiring, everything that goes around. So that's going to mean I have to take the fenders off, grill, lights. I'll probably take that bumper and stuff off anyway, just because it'll be easier, I think. I don't know, but I'll show you how to go about that if you don't know. I've already started taking the dash apart. I'm going to have to take that entire dash out. We'll go over that and kind of do a dash remove video portion of it. Going to do a front remove portion of it here. I'll probably tie all that in with the pulling of the motor. I glanced around enough at that article to know there may still be some wires that need to be repinned, but since basically a lot of the 3rd Gen 4Runner, 1st Gen Tacoma stuff is direct interchange and 3.4 was available in there, I'm kind of hoping that wiring harness doesn't have too many issues, but you'll find out along with me, as I'm still learning on that, and I am going to try to learn it as I go. I just kind of like to peruse articles for the most part. I know I got to do some fabrication of motor mounts. I'm not sure if I have to change transmissions or if that transmission or that engine will bolt to this transmission. I know the bell housings come apart. Anyway, I have everything, so come what may, I should be prepared. But I can't even get going until I start stripping this vehicle all down. I'll probably leave the doors on it just so I can close it up, but you need to know that part. So anyway, I'm going to grab some tools. I've already pulled the battery and drained the radiator. Pretty elementary stuff. Get these grill clips out, start taking the lights, bumper, fenders, and move to the dash, and that'll be the first part of the preparation on the Tacoma. Now, like I said, this came with a 3.4 option, so it's really nice. Like, there is my fuel inlet and outlet or return right there. The evap, the fuse box, which you know the fuse box goes there on the 3rd Gen. But my evap would fit there. There's my fuel and our inlet and return. Air box is on the same side. Batteries on the same side. I'm used to doing 3.4 swaps in older vehicles, or rather I have done a couple. Let me put it that way. And yeah, not used to everything falling into place. The exhaust is on the correct side already. A lot of things are already where they need to be, so that's going to be really nice. Not sure about radiator. I don't have the radiator out of that 3rd Gen because it was bad. I think that's the radiator that I need right there. The hoses come in the same place. The heater hoses are in the same place. Little things I meant to mention there. I'm going to grab a few things and start taking some of this front apart because all of this needs to be dismantled, the dash and all. I'll try to just give a brief on most of this. For the dismantling of the front, you take these corner lights out. They have 2 screws in the end, and a little plastic clippy thing that goes through that hole right there, kind of like this. They get dry and brittle and crack and fall apart, but that's what was in there. I don't think this grill has ever been apart. Holding the grills in behind these little clips right here, you can see one I've removed. The clip is supposed to stay in like that. They look like that. You put them in flat and turn them straight up and down, and then they stay in the metal part. This little tab on the end here moves up and down, and there's a slot in the grill piece that you probably can't see in there anyway, but yeah, you push that little tang down on the end right there and then release the grill over the top of it, right? Pretty smurfy. Works occasionally, breaks mostly. What's most interesting, and this was true on the mini trucks as well, there's a clip right there. You see that? It's in there where you can't get to it. There's a clip there. There's a clip in the middle. There's one over here and another one behind there. And you can't get to any of them without removing the front bumper first. Ridiculous. But I love Toyotas, but that's a silly thing. But you unscrew your light, take it out. That can hang from the back. Through here you can see that light socket hanging and the place where it went, the piece of black plastic right above it. Just pop those out real quick, and then we're going to go in for those bolts that you can kind of see one of right there. There's two. Don't forget those silly ones that tie the fender and the bumper together behind here that are always rusted, stuck in my part of town, and you end up usually having to cut or break those. But first, let me grab a wrench, go underneath there, get those bumper mount bracket bolts out. Now there's a hole right there in this little plastic thing, and behind it, if I can get up in there close enough, where is it? Right there. That's a 12 millimeter that you need to put your impact on and break. It'll immediately strip, and generally you end up having to cut this little piece here, a little Y-framey stuff right there. You can see all the rust on it. That all bolts to the fender, holds the bumper to the edge of the fender. On this side here, I'll try and get my camera in there to mostly show you. That is mostly gone. Completely rusted away right there, and will just break off in my hand. So one will need cut, one will need ripped off, and if you're lucky, you can just take that bolt out and it all come apart for you. Where'd it go? Okay, there it is. That one broke off, just as I had suspected. That one over there is completely rusted in too. I'm going to go up underneath here. Woo! Look out. Ready for action. Get my impactor up here. Now you got to take these turn signals out. They just have a screw on each end because they are going to be in the way of your bolts right there. Those two 14s you got to take out, and that will get the bumper brackets loose, and then I can get a better look at the front end of this frame. It's really kind of awesome that it looks so good. Let's see if it turns out that good. Let me try this real quickie like. See if I can get them with this, or if we're gonna have to break out the big gun, literally. Hey! Look at that. Cobalt to the rescue. See if I can get that other one. No, kick the camera around too awful much. Go on there real good. Look at that. What do you know? All right, I'm gonna jump over to the other side, do those real quick. Lo and behold, I got all 4 of them out of there. That don't happen in the Rust Belt every day. Hang on a minute, let me wiggle jiggle this thing loose. You can see that it's dropped down. I'll show you how to get to those other fasteners here in a minute. Let's continue to dismantle this thing. You can see where that one broke off there. It all just pulls right off in your hand after that. And now you can see a better shot of what I say. That one was so rusty. Now that bumper is just about ready to come through maybe on the corner. I don't know. But this is nice and chrome and pretty and it'll be for sale. Real cheap on Marketplace tomorrow. So if you need a Tacoma bumper, go there and look for one. Next thing, I'm going to start running all these tins out of the fender. They're all across the top. There's always one right there behind the door. 2 in the bottom, which don't look bad. And then I take the fender thing off with the fender and undo it from the body. It's just 4 or 5 clips around there. Try to hit those high points as I go. All right, now like I said, that next batch of clips is over here. I can't probably get that to push down and pull out. Ooh, there went my light and everything. We'll try that again. Now I probably can't get this to push in and pull out. But you see how that pushes down right there, and then that grill pulls out over it. You see there's supposed to be one there, one here in the middle. I'm gonna go ahead and pop those down and get this grill off real quick. I can't believe all these bolts are coming out. I don't know anything about the history of this truck beyond what happened to it since. Hey, get off my mask, dog. Look at that. Jeez, he goes and gets a drink and wants to clean my mask for me. He's a good boy. Yeah, good boy. He's a goon. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I don't know where this truck came from. Hey, look at that. It did pull out. Or what its life was all about. Oh, it's in there. Before I got it, other than what's happened to it since last April of 2021. So a little more than a year ago. So yeah, I don't know if it came from a rust-free state prior to that or what. I'm gonna go ahead and get this grill the rest of the way off. You seen what I was doing, was popping those down and pulling. Mostly it's ready, hey, to fall off on my head. So that's how that pops out. Now I'm gonna get the fenders off. There's the other bolt I couldn't get to because of the grill. Grill I couldn't get to because of the bumper. And the bumper bolts rusted on the corner, but that really wasn't an issue. But there's what them clips are like. These on the bottom mostly stayed. I'd be willing to wager this has not been off before. That's just my wager. Hang on, I'll take some more stuff off. Now, whenever possible, I always like to put the bolts back in where they came out of and just run them up in there. Finger tight so you don't lose them. That way I know where my battery tray bolt, hold down bolt is. My bumper bolts will be where I need them. I keep these little magnetic trays around. I love them. You can tell these are definitely the fender bolts. I still can't believe those two came out without an issue. I'm going to do it on this one over here while you watch. And watch, it'll break them. Because it looks like I said, the rear of this had some rust repair done to it. Or some reinforcements, but it looks like probably rust repair. Look at that, coming right out. Holy cow. But anyhow, I'm not sure where this truck was born and raised. You never get those out on a truck from around here. Those are two that you can just count on to always be rusted. just like that on the other side. No longer again. But look at this thing just coming apart. So hang on while I take some more of this apart. Like I said, I like to take the inner fender liner off with the fender. That's going to involve taking this screw out maybe at the bottom. No, it's that one back there that you have to take out there. That's a push fit. That's a push fit. Or pinch, you can pinch them in together on the other side. I can show you the one on the front here. Let me grab a needle nose. Okay, this is what they look like. You can go in, oh, where the hell am I at? You can squeeze them. Where in the hell do they squeeze? Dang it, squeeze and go. Yeah, and push them through. You see what I'm doing? Can you see what I'm doing? They got little pushy things on the corners. There. See, on the opposite corners. So you squeeze those together and those push out. One's there. Where are they? I know they're in there. Oh, right there. They're up closer to the edge. There's another one on, yeah, right under there. Do you see it? Oop, right in the V of those wires right there. Anyway, you can just rip those off or you can push those in and save them so you can put them back with the factory doohickey. So once you get all the bolts out, there's two there, one there, the three up along here, plus your little hood bumper thing, the one that's behind there, and the two at the bottom. You got to take one fastener out of the back leg of the mud flap right there. That's that little plastic grommet fell out. Then your fender and your inner fender's ready to remove. Should pretty much just lift up and over this little ledge here. Don't drop it on your dog like the grill fell off on my head. But the fender just came off. You know, that don't look bad back there. I like it that it's still got the mud flaps on it. Those fenders look good. That's OE fender too, because it's still got the label on it. Now, I was going to mention I meant to do a motor blow on this. Was going to. When I got this, I fired it up. It ran like shit, and I idled it up onto my trailer. Did the same thing off my trailer into my garage. Hadn't started it since. Well, I did the one time to diagnose it and found out how to hold in the block, but not since then. I tried to start it today and get it to come up off idle and run for more than 30 seconds, and wasn't happening, so no motor blow episode. Get to smell part of the fender you never would have if I hadn't took it off, huh, dog? That's got to be exciting, right? But yeah, look how rusty knot this is up in here, a little bit down there. I got a notion that this maybe came from some place where they don't have a lot of rust, so I got a hold of it before it got terrible. That would make me really happy, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I'm going to continue with the other side. Next, I'll go inside and tear the dash apart, and we'll start removing all the harnesses from this. Maybe do that before I pull the engine out. Getting the engine out and that engine in isn't going to be the difficult part of this. But man, that looks an awful lot like a 3rd Gen 4Runner when you take the fenders off of those. In fact, like I said, these parts will bolt right up onto a 3rd Gen 4Runner. So that is all encouraging to me. I'm going to wrap this up here. You see everything you needed to do. Hopefully you learned something about it in the haphazard way that I go about things. But going to remove those inner fender clips here and have to dismantle that antenna. That's pretty self-explanatory. The nut on the top comes off. Thanks for joining me today for this part on how to tear the front down on the Tacoma and get it ready. Probably went on way longer than I should have. Sorry I couldn't do a motor blow. Much more to come on this. If you like this, subscribe if you want to see more of me and Slim and Oswald wherever he ran off to. Check links in the description if you're so inclined. Click bells, other such things. It's all up to you. But it is free, it is painless, and it is easy, and I would appreciate it. Most of all, I appreciate you coming, hanging out in the garage for a little bit today. Have a super great day.